a second. Should we speed it up? Yeah! Create in me the life I need, born of love, joyously.
Recording in progress.
Born is my body, and eternal is my soul, as I trust in Spirit divine. Born is my body, eternal is my soul. Trusting in Spirit, perfect and whole. Born is my body, eternal is my soul. Trusting in Spirit, perfect and whole. Trusting in Spirit divine, trusting in Spirit divine, trusting in Spirit divine. Born is my body, eternal is my soul. Trusting in Spirit, perfect and whole. Born is my body, eternal is my soul. Trusting in Spirit, perfect and whole. Trusting in Spirit divine, trusting in Spirit divine, trusting in Spirit divine. Born is my body, eternal Namaste.
And while we're on our feet, please turn to one another and offer the Namaste greeting. The divine light that's within me, I see in you. Namaste, namaste. And just take a moment to silence your cell phone. That would be great. Well, grand rising, everyone, and friends, and new friends, and old friends. Yes, wonderful to be here. Well, for those that don't know, my name is Reverend Diane Davison, and I'm a retired hospital chaplain. And I am so honored to be here today and to be your host while Reverend Elizabeth is in Canada at our CSL once-a-year retreat. It's called SOAR, and she'll be back here next week, I'm sure, to share all the wonderful pearls of wisdom she learned, and she also did a seminar up there. So welcome to Awakening Waves, Center for Spiritual Living, where all we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by simply changing your mind. This service has been designed especially for each and every one of you. Welcome home. We have been waiting for you. Yes. Absolutely. And we have an affirmation to start this morning. I'm going to invite you to please repeat after me. I am a divine creation. I co-create with Spirit a life that I love. I co-create with Spirit a life that I love. Yes, and so it is. And I'd like to invite our practitioner of the day, Kristen Barnhart. She's going to give us an earnest home reading and a beautiful spiritual prayer. And as she comes up here, I want to remind all of us that we are a community that knows the incredible power of prayer. And there's 4 ways for you to receive prayer and support. The first one, right after the service, practitioner Kristen will be out in the lobby to offer that 1-minute miracle, a short, powerful prayer to uplift your spirit and your heart. And if you have not been around this beautiful practitioner, her words will lift your heart. She's incredible. The second way you can receive prayer and support is through a prayer request form that should be in each of your programs. And what you're going to do is simply fill this out, and you can put it in the offering basket as it passes by a little later on, or over to the prayer box. This is very simple to do. You're just going to put your name up there. You're going to put who are you requesting a prayer for yourself or for somebody else. And you're going to put down what result you would like to have in the prayer. So my prayer request is, my left hip is pain-free, and I love going to the gym. Now, I got to tell you guys something. I wrote this last night. My hip is pain-free. It's incredible. And you can ask for a prayer for anything. Maybe a job interview you're going on, or maybe you would like to have a gratitude prayer for all the love and the goodness in your life, or you would like to celebrate something wonderful that is happening in your life right now. And so whatever it is, fill it out. You guys, this is one of our major tools in our philosophy, and what we teach is our prayer work. We will take these prayers, and for the next 7 days, our soul support team will be praying over those. And you know what? If you've had a demonstration like I just did, please share it with us. Send it to Reverend Elizabeth. We would love to celebrate your wins. Also, the third way you can get prayer support, people on Zoom, live stream, or any of us during the week, if something kind of creeps up, just send us an email. at info@awakeningways.org. And in the subject line, if you could put prayer requests so we can get on it ASAP. That's the top priority for us. The fourth way you can receive prayer and support is having a one-on-one spiritual counseling session with a practitioner or a minister. And all of our information's inside your program. This is an hour session. It's confidential. We all set our own fees, but nobody is ever turned away. Remember, we're here to love you up, to praise you, and all the love that we teach here at Awakening Ways. And finally, we are so grateful for practitioner Anna, who's sitting down here in those beautiful summer colors, because she is doing what we call holding safe. She's holding the high watch, and she's in this meditative state, knowing that Spirit is guiding the service, every word, every song, and every heart that is here today. And so now, Practitioner Kristen.
Well, I'm a Universal Life Church reference, so. Oh, I was really excited this morning, well, last night, because I previewed it, what the reading was for today. And so just listen to this, and then we'll go into prayer. The Chinese sage said that the Tao, meaning spirit, produces everything, nourishes everything, and maintains everything. It flows through and is in all beings, being all that is. There is nothing outside it. There is spiritual presence pervading the universe, welling up in your consciousness, always proclaiming itself to be the source of your being. The enlightened ones of the ages have told you that your recognition of life is God within you, recognizing itself in everything you do. So if you're comfortable closing your eyes or just letting them soft focus, bring your attention to your breath. Let's take a deep healing breath and just release it with a sigh. God is all there is. Spirit and the presence of Spirit is all there is. God is love. God is prime intelligence. God is the life force flowing through and in and around each and every one of us. Oh, and I am one with that Spirit. I am one with that energy. I am one with that love. And as I know I am, I know that everyone here and within the sound of my voice is also. And today, I proclaim and declare a perfect day where we are recognizing and celebrating and learning from our own Reverend Susan. It is such an honor and a blessing to be here in support and acknowledgement and to learn from her wisdom. We are all here today to be touched by the music, to be held up by each other, to watch the diamonds just glittering and dancing on the water, hoping for a sight of a bald eagle going by. We are here because this is a divine appointment. And we will walk out with just exactly what we need to get us through our day and to get us through our work, to get us through our week, to get us through all that is happening around us. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for everyone who is here. I'm so grateful for the firefighters who are helping to protect our friends and our beautiful land. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Thank you. So I release my word into the law, knowing it is already done. And together we say, and so it is.
This song, we picked this especially because Susan was talking today. And one of the lines in it is, I listened to the spiritual talks and I learned nothing. Nothing's too good to be true. Nothing's too wonderful to happen. Nothing's too good to last. What else is possible? The spiritual life, and I learned nothing. I live the spiritual life, and I learned nothing. I learned nothing's too good to be true. Nothing's too wonderful to happen. Nothing's too good to ask. What else is possible? I read all the spiritual books and I learned nothing. I learned nothing. I read all the spiritual books and I learned nothing. Nothing, nothing. I learned nothing's too good to be true. Nothing's too wonderful to happen. Nothing's too good to last. What else is possible? Thank you, Lord, for this life. spiritual life, and I learned nothing. I learned nothing. I live the spiritual life, and I learned nothing, nothing, nothing. I learned nothing's too good to be true. Nothing's too wonderful to happen. Nothing's too good to last. What else is possible? Yeah!
Fabulous. Let's have some love for Jimmy and Steve on the harmonica. And we saw Joni and Patricia doing a little choreography there. Awesome. Thank you so much. Wonderful. If that doesn't lift our spirits, I don't know what does. But I know who's coming up that will lift our spirits. And I have the incredible honor of presenting our guest speaker today for the first time as a reverend, Reverend Susan Jones. And what I love about Reverend Susan, is that every time she has spoken in the past, her talks are vulnerable, they're real, and I love her personal stories because I get to learn about Reverend Susan, and those stories carry me through all the week. She is truly a gem, and as I always say here, she's a super glue that holds Awakening Ways together. So come on up, Susan, Reverend Susan. And these beautiful yellow flowers are for you on behalf of our community. Congratulations.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that you are all here, and I feel your love, so thank you for that. So our seed of awakening for this month is magic and mystery, and today's talk is creating as a sacred act. Now, every month, our talks are based around the book of the month. And this month, the book is The Kingdom of Magic and Mystery by Cynthia James. And I'll get to that in a minute. But as usual, Spirit had other ideas for me about creating as a sacred act and what I should be sharing with you today. So the first thing I want to share is that when I did the oral panel, which is the last thing you do before you become a minister, there were two ministers, plus Reverend Elizabeth, who just got to observe but not say anything. She just got to be there. Two ministers, and they asked me questions for about 45 minutes to an hour. One question they asked me is, how has your life changed as a result of the Science of Mind teaching? And I thought about that, and I realized that my entire life is different. So before I learned about the Science of Mind, I was not involved in any other religion. I didn't go to church. God, for me, was this sort of scary guy who was watching me, judging me, and waiting to catch me doing something wrong. Like I was always looking up and looking around the corner, you know. And I would also say that I was kind of a superstitious person. Like I would cross my fingers, or I would count things and go, if there's 3, that's a yes. If there's 2, it's a no. Like, it's nutty, right? But that's just how I rolled. And when I got up in the morning, I didn't know what life was going to throw at me. I wasn't depressed or sad or anything, but I'm just saying I had no idea that I had anything to do with my life. like that I could create a life that I love. I just rolled out of bed and waited to see what befell me, let's say. So now this Science of Mind teaching had created within me this idea that I'm not alone, for one, and that I am co-creating with some power and presence that's bigger than me. And I'm going to say that this process didn't happen overnight. It wasn't automatic. This science of mind is a practice. It's not dogma. It's not a religion, but it takes the truths from all the major religions and kind of lays them out for us to consider and, more importantly, for us to use. When I first became acquainted with Ernest Holmes and the science of mind, I have to admit it was a little bit hard for me to understand. And yet, when I went to Sunday service, the concepts of the science of mind seemed very clear and made sense to me. So Ernest Holmes was speaking and writing about his spiritual ideas from the 1930s up until his passing in 1960. And his most well-known work, which is The Science of Mind, which we call our textbook, that was published in 1938. And so the style of speaking and writing in those days was really different than when I grew up. And it's very different than the language of today. So because of that, I often had a hard time explaining to my family and friends just what this spiritual practice of metaphysics is all about. Well, here's a quote from 365, Science of Mind, from Ernest Holmes. This helped me. "The wisest man that ever lived said that there is a truth that can set you free from fear, want, unhappiness, and death itself. He said that this truth is already in you. Now, this means that evil, no matter what face it wears or what form it takes or how many people believe it, it is never a thing in itself. Jesus did not say that evil has no reality as an experience, but he did say that you should not judge by appearances. He said that you should live as though the kingdom was already yours. We learn to co-create with God a life that we love to live. And everything we create is a sacred act, whether it be art, music, food, or love. We believe in one source that is the creator of everything. And we call that source God, Spirit, universe, the one, intelligence, mind. It doesn't matter what we call it. It is infinite, it is indestructible, and it creates from itself. Therefore, all of creation is made of and by God. That means you and I are God, having a Susan, a Kristen, an Anna experience. Another way of putting it is there's only one thing happening, and that's God. God is all there is, and when you look around, you are seeing God as a tree, as the ocean, as a squirrel, as your neighbor, as you. Now, for people new to science of mind, it's hard to hold our teaching that God is all there is, with all the negativity, hate, suffering, and natural disaster all around us. It's probably the first question people grapple with in foundations. And when I took foundations, I had the same question. And this is what I decided is true for me. So if God is all there is, I imagine the ocean being God. And when the ocean sends waves to the shore, it is creating form. And those waves come into form, and then they recede back into that ocean. What I believe is that all of creation is that. So God creates form, it comes into existence, and then it retreats back into the one. That's how I hold all that's happening in this world. It's all God. God is constantly creating and refining and evolving its creation. Just like nature adapts to the environment, we humans do too. Whenever something terrible happens, most people respond with love and an outstretched hand. Out of tremendous tragedy comes healing and evolution. A few years back in my family, my niece and her boyfriend were expecting a baby girl. And towards the end of the pregnancy, it was determined that this baby had a birth defect that was going to affect her ability to live. And so she was born in the Children's Hospital in LA, and she lived for about 5 days. And her mom and dad were with her when she passed. Well, at the funeral, I noticed that everyone was crowding around my niece. And the father, her boyfriend, the father of this baby, was sitting all by himself, and he had his head in his hands. And I went over to him, I sat next to him, and he looked at me and he said, "Why? Why? Why would God do this?" And from within me, which I know had to be God, I asked him, "Have you ever felt love like this before?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, then she did her job. She did what she came here to do." And he just put his arms around me and hugged me. You know, I know a lady from being in foster care whose daughter, in her 20s, died from alcohol overdose. And it was a very, very sad thing for this family. Well, what the family did was they created the Kayla Peach Foundation. And what they do is they let me go back. The reason that she died, she didn't need to die, but she passed out and her friends put her to bed. Okay? So this family started this foundation, and they have been into every school. They go do presentations, and they explain to people, kids, don't do that. If somebody passes out, you don't put them to bed. You help get them back. So they have saved countless lives because of this tragedy that happened in their family. And you know, Michael J. Fox, think about him. Parkinson's disease, right? This is a tragic thing for him, and yet out of this tragedy, all the good that he has created for so many people, it's beyond belief. This is how God works. So now another thing that could trigger criticism in those who are just learning about science of mind is the idea that we can pray for things: a new car, house, money in the bank, or even a parking space right in front of the store by claiming it in our mind. Now, this is something that's taught in every foundations class, and there's a reason, and that is to teach us that the divine knows no little or no big. A parking space is just as legitimate a prayer as a prayer for a complete healing of disease. How many of you in here have manifested a parking space before? Look around the room. This happens. It just works. It works. But for some people, this teaching might seem like it's about materialism, like getting stuff. But here's the thing. If you look around at the people who practice this teaching, they're not all driving Bentleys or living in mansions, although some are. But one thing you will find in common with all of them is that they are happy. Yeah. So, for me, for example, my husband, 8 years ago, Larry and I sold our house that was on 11 acres in Creston. And we sold almost all of our stuff, too. We moved into a motorhome, and then eventually into a little cottage on our friend's property where we rent. We have never been happier in our lives than we are right now. And that happiness is not about things, but it is about creating a life that we love, co-creating with God. So many of us were taught that it's not proper to ask God for things or to ask for too much because we don't want to be rude to God, right? Right? But the divine does not measure out prayer. I have a good friend whose daughter was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and we all prayed and prayed that when the surgery occurred, that it would be removed and that it would be benign. And it was. About a year later, another tumor was detected. And she told me that when she talked to her husband about praying, he said, "You can't pray about that. You already got your miracle." Right? God already gave you what you asked for. You can't ask again. And I told her, "Oh, no, that is so not true. Do not listen to him. That is not true. God is here willing to pour out a blessing beyond our wildest imagination. There's no end to what you can co-create with the divine. But there is one thing, however, that does affect the degree of answered prayer that you experience, and that is how much you believe that you can have the thing you're praying for. And there's a really easy way to check your belief. When you think of a prayer request, ask yourself, do I believe that I can have this thing I'm praying for? If the answer is no, then ask yourself, well, what do I believe I could have around this? And then pray for that. And sometimes we're so wrapped up in fear about a condition in our own lives or maybe a condition in our loved ones that we can't believe or see the healing. That's when you stop praying and you turn it over to a practitioner, a minister, a friend, someone who can believe for you. And you can always check what you're saying about yourself or someone else. We're always co-creating with God, even if the result is not what we think it should be. For example, a person who wants to be free of pain, who goes around saying, I have chronic pain. Now, I'm not saying that the pain isn't real. It is. But what I am saying is, if your prayer is, I have chronic pain, then the universe will give you what you're claiming. You know, when I was growing up, my mom just did not like old people. She did not like old people at all, and she did not want to be old at all. No way, no how. And her mantra growing up was, don't ever put me in a home. Don't ever put me in a home. I'll never go in a home, right? Well, about, I would say, maybe 3 years before she passed, she was living here in California, and she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Except that the neurologist here in California said, there's no purpose in telling her this diagnosis because it's not curable, and so why would we even tell her? And so we were like, okay. So she took some medications, but she wasn't really sure why she was taking them. Well, in the last year of her life, she moved to Texas to live with my sister, Ann. And she had some kind of incident that landed her in the emergency room. And the doctor there handed my mom a brochure on Alzheimer's and said, this is what you have. Read up on this. Can you believe that? Well, my mom read the brochure. She told my sister, I don't want to end up in one of these homes. The next week, she got her hair done, which she always did. She got her nails done, and then she had a complete and total brain aneurysm. Now, she lived for about 5 days in the hospital, unresponsive. Every person that walked in that room said, your mother is so beautiful. Look at her hair. Look at her nails. My sisters and I knew this is the way this woman wanted to go out, right? Praised for her beauty and not a shriveled old lady in a nursing home. You know, I mean, it's amazing. Now, that's one way of doing it. But I know another lady who now I've told this story before, I don't know if you guys remember it, but she adopted 2 kids from Eastern Europe, and it took forever to get them. And when she finally did get them, she took them to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician said, the kids are great, but I don't like the looks of that mole on you. Like, you should get that checked. Well, she went and got it checked, and it turns out it was melanoma. And she just said, no. Like, no. This is not happening. And she went home, and that melanoma went away. Finito. It was completely gone. She knew in her mind, I did not bring these boys here to have a mother to then get sick with cancer and die. That's not happening, and it was gone. This is the power of the mind. Now, I'm not saying that this happens all the time, or that we are responsible for healing ourselves immediately, because it does come down to belief. And if you think about it, my mom was like, hell no, will I ever, 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 right? And this lady was the same way. She's like, this is not happening. I will not stand for this. You know, everything that we create is a sacred act. And the great news is that you can stop creating what you don't want and change what you believe. Your mind is powerful and creative. And Ernest Holmes doesn't ask you to believe what he's saying. He asks you to try it. Have an open mind to the possibility of changing your life by changing your mind. The point here, which is so powerful, is that if our conscious thoughts command the subjective law to create what we are thinking, then we have the power to consciously change our thoughts to create the life that we want to live. And we can pay attention to our thought patterns in order to understand why our life might not be reflecting our true heart's desires. And then once we identify thought patterns that are not reflecting our highest good, we can change our thoughts. In the words of Ernest Holmes, we must bring ourselves to the place in mind where there is no misfortune, no calamity, no accident, no trouble, no confusion, where there is nothing but plenty, peace, power, life, and truth. We should definitely, daily declare the truth about ourselves, realizing that we are reflecting our statements into consciousness and that they will be operated upon by it. It means that we're never doomed by any kind of fate. Now, we know that this works because we see the results from affirmative prayer. Ernest Holmes said, this is not a preaching philosophy, this is a teaching philosophy. In other words, the science of mind is of no use unless you make use of it. We don't tell people what to believe, but we suggest ways of experiencing healing in all areas of life, and we're there to help understand the process. But the key is, each one of us must have the direct experience of healing, and we do. As a practitioner for many years, I have seen over and over again people who come to our teaching with a litany of negative issues, whether it's health, emotional, relationships, finances, you name it. As time goes by and they learn to accept prayer treatment from a practitioner or a minister, and then they start practicing prayer treatment for themselves, a shift begins to happen. Their prayer requests become less about what they don't want in their lives and more about what they do want in their lives. In other words, the negative issues resolve due to treatment, and they start to see what is possible. If you want proof that prayer treatment works, just ask anyone who is practicing the science of mind. Not only will they tell you that it does, but they will tell you all about the personal experiences of demonstrations. The very word that we use, demonstrations, means that we know that power of prayer brings about a healing. It brings about a demonstration. Now, in our book of the month, in chapter 2, it's called The Castle of Art. Carolyn James explores ways for us to expand our creativity, and there are exercises and meditations to open ourselves to the divine creativity within us. Now, she is focused mostly on creating works of art, painting, sculpture, music, etc. But the process of opening to spirit to create is the same, whether you are making a piece of art or creating your life. You are creating as a sacred act. You don't have to believe what I'm telling you. I want you to go ahead and try it for yourself. There's lots of practitioners and teachers available to help you along the way. Before you know it, you will have unlocked the storehouse of your good, and all those aches, pains, complaints, and unhappiness will be but faint memories. So if you've heard anything today that seems unbelievable or unrealistic, it's okay. Your spiritual path is unique and it's personal. If you heard anything that resonates with you, pick that up and leave the rest. I love being in a spiritual community because we are walking this path of co-creating our lives with one another. We learn to grow by talking about this teaching, asking questions, and sharing demonstrations of answered prayer. As someone who's been around Science of Mind for 30 plus years, I can tell you that practicing the principles of Science of Mind heals the body and the mind always, predictably, and without fail. So I'd like to invite the band to come back up, and I will conclude here with a call to action and a prayer. So this week, your call to action is first to ask this question: this week, what will I co-create with the divine? And remember, there's no big or little to the divine. Number 2, try praying for a parking space. But pray for 2 so that the guy behind you also has a space. That will make you feel better about praying for a parking space. Just pay for 2. And if you have questions about this teaching, especially if anything is triggering you, talk to a minister, talk to a practitioner, talk to someone who's been around for a while. We've all been there. We've all been there. And so, if you feel comfortable to close your eyes. I know that there is only one thing happening. I know that God is all there is, and everything in existence is God in form. Each person, each animal, each insect, everything is God. And I know that every single thing in existence is made of God, and that means we are all divine. We are all magnificent. And I know that the magnificence of the divine is active in each and every person who can hear my words. The very cells in our bodies are lit up with that energy and love of the divine. And I know that we all are communicating with that. I know that we are all co-creating with the divine to create a life that we absolutely love. And I'm certain of that. And I'm so grateful for that. So I know that as each and every one of us leaves this place and goes back into our lives, back to our homes, back to our jobs, wherever we are, the pickleball court, we bring that knowing with us. We know that we are playing with God. We are co-creating with God. And we are creating magnificence. And for that, I am so grateful. And I know that when I speak my word of truth into that beautiful, receptive law, it knows only to do. And God says yes. And so it is.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. Well, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling great. fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom up in the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Don't you know, don't you? Butterflies all having some fun, you know what I mean. Oh, sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world is an old world, is a bold world for me, and I'm feeling good. Stars in the sky, you know how I feel. Scent of a pine, you know how I feel. Where freedom is mine, when I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. I said it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. I said it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Yes, I'm feeling good. Feeling good. Feeling good.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Karen. That was awesome. And I wanted, when I'm going to introduce each of you, raise your hand. We have Wayne. We have Rick. No, we have Frank. Sorry, Sally, Tricia. Raise your hand. Mary, Doreen, Ron, Jesse, birthday girl Joni, Patricia, Rick, Karen, Steve, and the one and only Jimmy. Woo! We are feeling good. Thank you so much. This is a time for our conscious giving, so I'd like to invite our ushers up here to the front. And if you happen to forget your checkbook or your wad of cash or your credit card, no worries whatsoever. We got you covered here. If you just go back to your program right here, there's a QR code. Just put your camera on it in the photo mode, and it will go right to the PayPal link. Also, if you're on Zoom or live stream or during the week you feel the inspiration to be of conscious giving, continue that, go ahead and just send that to paypal.me/awakeningways. And you know, you guys, we wouldn't be here today in this beautiful setting. We wouldn't be able to have our great office on El Camino Real. We wouldn't have all those great classes, this magnificent music, if it wasn't for each and every one of your conscious giving. So I want to thank you so much. You all created this. So I'm going to invite you to take your gift in your hand, place it on your heart, and we're going to repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And I give thanks for our ushers. We have Phil and we have Carol. There's so many wonderful people here. Also remember to put your prayer requests in the basket. And there you go.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Bring them together as one there. Perfect. Oh, what a morning, right? Woo! Oh, and these gifts reflect all of that enthusiasm, all of that love, all that money can do and more, because it carries your essence, because you share it as part of this community. And we are so grateful. And we'll go out into this day taking this energy, taking this love, taking this creative optimism, and we're going to pull into those parking places, and the person behind us is going to wave instead of that other gesture, and life will be good, and so it is.
Thank you, Kristen. There we go. Thank you. Well, wonderful. This is a time I would like to invite our announcement angel, and his birthday girl, Joni, makes it up here. I want to share with you very quickly about a free webinar that I'm going to be doing on the 5 wishes. If you're not familiar with the 5 wishes, come over and see me at the table. I'll give you the booklet. I'll get you signed up. It is a very important thing to have, especially after the beautiful talk that we had from Reverend Susan, how important it is that you speak your word for what you want at the end of that time in the physical body. Okay.
Hi, beloveds. I'm Joyful Joni, your bubbly bard from the Estero Bay, here to blast you with a bit of what's brewing at Awakening Ways. Buckle up for a breezy batch of beautiful blessings, bright ideas, and bold happenings. First up, a Zoom time of zest and zeal. Join Reverend Elizabeth for Enchantment Circle, a mystical journey through the kingdom of magic and mystery. This 3-week online adventure will awaken your inner magic, help heal your heart, and invite more joy and freedom into your life. The dates are Tuesday, starting this Tuesday, August 12th, the 19th, and 26th. The time is 6 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. The investment is $65, which is a bonanza for sure. Sign up at the information table. And as a bonus, this Love Shop's guidebook is our book of the month, The Kingdom of Magic and Mystery by Cynthia James, and it's available at the info table for $25. Thursday, Thriving Together on August 14th, this Thursday at the Women's Connection Circle, gathers from 6 to 8 p.m. here at our center on El Camino Real. Join Reverend Eve. We'll be facilitating this fabulous evening of connection, conversation, and community. Plenty more possibilities. There's a lot blossoming at Awakening Ways, so browse the information tables to learn about these and many more uplifting opportunities. Don't forget to peruse the purple page in your program for all the August events and sign up for our weekly email so you'll always be in the know. Big, beautiful bravo. Let's give a booming, bodacious shout out to all of our volunteers and staff who make this project possible. Before I flutter off the stage to serenade you some more and let our service continue to soar, I'll leave you with a lighthearted laugh. No offense, Jimmy, but my aura and I are in a band. We're called Lighten Up. Okay, on a more personal note, I wanted to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for your love and support during my time this week that my beloved kitty, Couscous, went missing. I was heartbroken. I was torn between my intuition that she had left to die and my hopeful prayer that she might still be alive. I did my best to stay centered, and you all surrounded me with such love and support and prayers. And I'm ever so happy to report that Spirit Divine led me to her, and she is alive. And I feel truly blessed to be a part of this community, and I thank you more than words can say. You truly made this the best birthday ever. And thank you. Just wonderful. Thank you. Remember, you are blessed, and you are a blessing. Oh, and Jimmy, I found the note from my doctor that I can now sing again. La.
Thank you, Joni. And that is a demonstration she just shared with all of us. Well, let's circle up for our benediction and call and response, please. All right. Yeah, open up for the band. There we go. All right, well, this is truly the circle of life right here, isn't it? Won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always, and all that we ever need to do is to turn within. It is here we will find we are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that only knows good. Joyously, let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and all that we do. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my pocketbook. Life is in my relationships. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. I express it. I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. And so it is.
1, 2, 3. May I be filled